students. So today we're going to be looking at how do we multiply rational numbers. So we've been looking at adding and subtracting rational numbers, which were fractions and decimals. But today what we're going to be looking at is multiplying rational numbers. So if we think about fractions, when we were multiplying fractions, you would just have a fraction and multiply it straight across. So in order to multiply fractions, you just multiply straight across. So let's say I had 3/4 times 2/3. To multiply, I just multiply straight across. So 3 times 2 over 4 times 3. And that gave me 6/12. Then we could reduce it down. So 6 divided by 12, or divide by 2, and that gives us 1/2. So my final answer would be 1/2. But how does this apply to multiplying rational numbers? Well, we know that rational numbers are just fractions or decimals that have either a positive or a negative sign. So we're going to use the exact same rules that we've been using, and now we're just applying it to rational numbers. So let's check out an example. Example A. Example A says that I have -1/3 times 2/7. Okay, so there's my first example. Let's go ahead and move this up. So I have -1/3 times 2/7. Well, let's go ahead and start first by multiplying just straight across. So we're going to multiply straight across. We have 1 times 2, and we have 3 times 7. So we're just multiplying straight across. That gives us 2/21. Now, when I look at this number, I have one negative sign. Okay, so I have one negative sign. So we know that a negative times a positive will give us a negative. So really, this is -2/21. And we cannot reduce that because 21 is prime. No, it's not. 2 is prime. Sorry. 21 only has 3 and 7 as its factors, and neither of those work with 2. So we have ended with that problem. Okay, let's do another example. Okay, let's go ahead and do another example here. I want to find that one's a third again. Oh my goodness. All right, let's do 1/2 times 4/5. -4/5. All right, so again, we're going to multiply just straight across. Multiplying straight across. So 1 times 4, or -4. 1 times 4 over 2 times 5. And that gives us 4/10. But we have one negative sign, so we know a positive times a negative is also a negative. And now we just are going to reduce. We can divide by 2/2. And that, because 2 goes into 4, and it also goes into 10. So that means that we have -2/5. And this problem is done. Okay, now let's look at another example, but this time I want to have some mixed numbers in there so that we can remember how to do our mixed numbers. Okay, so example C. Example C says that we have negative 1/3 times negative 2 3/4. Okay, so remember that when we have parentheses, a number stuck to parentheses, it does mean to multiply. So this is really the same thing as saying negative 1/3 times negative 2 3/4. Same thing as when we were doing addition and subtraction of rational numbers. In order to solve these, we do have to make mixed numbers into improper fractions. So we're going to solve these by turning this mixed number into an improper fraction. So I'm going to multiply here, and then I'm going to add up here. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11/4. And I did have a negative sign. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this problem. I am multiplying negative 1/3 times negative 11/4. So now that we have this, we are ready to just multiply straight across. 1 times 11 is 11. 3 times 4 is 12. And a negative times a negative is a positive. So I have positive 11/12. Positive 11/12. Okay, let's go ahead and take some notes real quick on the steps so that we have our steps here. Okay, so step number 1, we want to multiply a fraction by a fraction. So if we don't have a fraction by a fraction, you need to next make improper fractions if we don't have those, okay? If we have improper fractions or a fraction by a fraction, step 3, we're just going to multiply across on the top and bottom. Step 4, apply rules. I'm going to apply negatives and positive rules. And then step 5, we're going to simplify. Okay, so now that we have the rules, let's do another problem, but this time we are going to look at having 2 mixed numbers. Okay, so 2 mixed numbers. All right, so this will be example D. Example D says that I have 1 3/5 times negative 4 2/3. So I have 1 3/5, and then I have negative 4 2/3. So that's my job right there, is to multiply those two things. So let's go ahead and rewrite these so that they are in improper fractions, because it says we want a fraction by a fraction. So if we don't have it, we need to make improper fractions. So 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. So we get 8/5 times 3 times negative 4 is negative 12 plus 2. So negative 12 plus 2 is negative 14/3. All right, now we're going to Now we're going to solve. So straight across, 8 times negative 14. So 8 times negative 14 is 112. And then here we have 15. So now we can reduce this problem down and look at how many times 15 can go into 112. So we have 15, 30, 45, 60, and then we have 60 and then 75, 90, 105. If I do another one, that's too much. So I have 7 holes, and that was 105. So 112 minus 105, 5, 7. So 7/15. And now we need to apply our positive negative rules. Positive, negative, so we have positive times a negative, which gives me with a negative at the end. So my answer for this one is -7 and 7/15. Okay, how did you do? Oh, you didn't do that one yet. It's not a check yet. Okay, let's go ahead and do our try-its. And then we can be ready to work on our practice work. So let's go ahead and do some try-its right now. All right, try-it number 1. Try-it number 1 says -4/5 times -2/3. And try-it number 2. Try-it number 2. This one's a big one too. Try-it number 2 says that I have 4.5 times -2 and 1/3. Okay, go ahead and hit pause right now so you don't hear me solving. And then when you are ready, come on back so you can check your understanding. All right. So first I just want to multiply straight across. So 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 3 is 15. And a negative times a negative gives me a positive. And I don't know any numbers that can go into both of those to reduce down. So I am done with 8/15. How did you do on that one? 8/15. Okay, and then our last one, we're going to go ahead and solve by first making improper fractions. So we have 8 plus 1 is 9/2 times 6 plus 1 is 7/3. And 9 times 7 is, so we've got 10. Here's your 9s trick. So if I hold down whichever one, that gives me 60 and 3. I didn't know if you guys knew that trick yet or not, but there it is. So 63. And then over 2 times 3 is 6. Now we can reduce this down to 10 and 3/6 or 10.5. We need to apply our negative positive rules. We have one negative sign. So this is -10.5. All right, how did you do on this problem here? Go ahead and rate your level of understanding. Answer your essential question. How do you multiply rational numbers? And then rate your level of understanding out to the side. When you are finished, you can head on back to the Google Meet and ask for help, or you can head on to Big Ideas and do your practice work. As always, I appreciate all of your hard work and effort, and make it a great day.